I I'm not like that. So I'm not somebody that would possibly be burnt out on love. I always thought since I was a child that love comes at every age. So you couldn't tell me, oh, it's too late, or oh, you're too old, or things like that. I would never ever have believed that. So I didn't feel like men were bad. I never had all these things. I thought the situation is a bit complicated. We don't really know how to meet naturally anymore. We might need the help of apps now. That's one thing. But I was always like, I'm a great woman. Somebody will think I'm great. There are great men around there. I like men, but could be the same with women. There are great men around there who have room for me in their life, who will see my beauty and all this. So I was always very positive, and I think it's something to remember. Stay away from generalities. Stay away from, oh, all the good men are taken, apps are shit, oh, I'm too old, or oh, I'm burnt out, love didn't work for me and that's the way it is. So all these thoughts that are too general, and just focus on, you just need to find one person. If you're looking for love, it just comes down to, one person meeting the other person. So it's a little bit normal that it's going to take a little while, that it's going to take a little bit of effort, because it's just one. And it also means that if you're going to meet a lot of people, lots of them are not going to work. I wouldn't have wanted to meet my boyfriend in the first date. I'm quite happy that it was disaster date after disaster date before I met him. First, because it gave me a stronger idea of what I wanted. And second, because it also helped me kind of, know where I stood and know how wonderful he was when I met him, right? The signals were, so if I met him first, maybe I would have been like, well, there's, there might be some other guy and all that. But then when I had seen like how these crazy people behave on apps, I was like, the second somebody was polite and interested and all that, I was like, oh, I could see the quality right away. Okay, so where was I going with that? I have so much to say about dating that. Anyway, so yes, go on apps and make it yours. Like, make this adventure yours and don't be depressed or insecure or whatever. We're all insecure when it comes to this, and that's what you're going to have to, learn. Your insecurity doesn't matter as much as the one that you have in front of you, because, I don't know if you're dating men. I think so, from what you told me. Very, very, very insecure. And one thing they do that's very different from women is that instead of returning that insecurity towards themselves, they will project it on you. So the first thing you have to do when you get on an app is to know that most of the things that will happen, shitty or not shitty, will not be so much about you, but about, projected fear, projected insecurity. And that's what I was saying about then when you meet someone that doesn't have that right away, you know the signs and you know how to see them, which is why I wish that once you get on the app, you do date more than 10, 15 guys before you meet your guy, or a 50 or 100. I don't know. Your number is not my number. We all have our way and we all have things to learn. And I think it's important to understand that dating is learning about oneself a lot and trying to learn about the other person. But a lot you're going to learn about, your insecurities, your hang-ups, what you want, what you never want anymore, and all the rest of it. So no discouraging or whatever. Just go and have fun. Okay, so the app that I used is called Raya. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I used it because it's an app for like people who have a certain following on Instagram. So I had access to that. Basically it's an app for people who are famous. That's what they say. But it's just like, basically if you have connections or if you have a certain number of followers on Instagram, you can get in. Why did I choose this? Because, of course, anything that kind of narrows down is a little bit easier. I was on Hinge at the same time, and I felt like with apps like Hinge, I felt literally like I was on the street walking, and that any man could come and say hi to me. And I tried to be polite with everyone, but it was a little bit much. So any apps that has, can put a lot of filters really help. So that's what I did. But I mean, still today, if I didn't have access to Raya, which most people don't have, I think I would go for Hinge. Yes. Because it's there's like prompts and questions, and I think it encourages conversation. Okay, so that's that. Now, I have a few tips for using apps for you once you decide, okay, this is it, I'm doing it. Garance told me to do it, I'm doing it. You can come cry in my shoulders later. No, I'm joking, but there will be shit dates, okay? You gotta know that, and you have to do it anyway. So I talk often about that book that I loved. Or I don't remember if I loved it. I just remember that the title has been one of my life mottos. It's feel the fear and do it anyway, because it's worth it. The shit parts are, it's like, studying is not always fun, but you have these long nights where you have to learn your lessons and all these things, but then you have a diploma. So kind of take it as the same thing. It's not always going to be great, but if you are smart, you can do it pretty well. So a few things, have conversations before you meet, text, but don't spend too much time texting, because some people are very talented at that. And also texting is the place where a lot of shit can happen, meaning these lags between answers, these weird kind of multi-directional text that you can interpret in so many ways that you left there thinking and not being sure. And that's where the projected insecurity happens. Usually if a man does that to you, he's just trying to, get kind of reflected in your eyes and make you feel insecure because it makes him feel better. I'm not going to go into psychobabble here, but, be careful with that. And the way to kind of cut that really fast is to say, let's have a conversation on the phone. So whether you do it FaceTime, you don't even have to in the beginning. If the guy is respectful, he would absolutely say yes, 100%, and that will be a good sign. And that's what we want to go for, is good signs that somebody is really interested and all that. So, say, hey, you know what? You look interesting, why don't we chat? You'll see so much through having a normal chat with a normal person that you won't see in text, which are so easy to manipulate, and I'm not really a fan of them. You can do it once you're sure that the guy is actually a little bit solid. So call, if you like the guy or the girl on the call, don't go for dinner. No. Because dinner is like a trap, it's like, because you will know so much more than when you have the first call will like tell you a lot, but the second you meet, you'll know if you want to kiss that person or not really. Physicality is super important. I'm not talking about the looks, I'm talking about the pheromones and how that person makes you feel, right? So in order not to find yourself stuck in a dinner that you don't want to be at because this is not going to go where you thought it could go, also just be careful, because a lot of people put very flattering photos on apps, which I think one should do. But then you might see them in real life and not be so convinced that that you actually like them. So go for a coffee. Coffee is so easy because you can exit a coffee in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then, if then you really like them, you can say, okay, ready for a dinner. You don't want a guy you don't want to be stuck in a restaurant. You don't want to be thinking of who's going to pay the bill. You don't want to have that awkward moment of, is he gonna kiss me and I don't want him to kiss me, or I want all these things. That's too early. First, a coffee.